What is up, everybody? My name is Garrett Sims, and this is the podcast with Garrett Sims. I'm Garrett Sims. This is my podcast. It's March 8th. It's a Monday. It's 2021. And see, I apologize because I am choking on a piece of gum right now. Wowza! Got a lot of stuff to talk about in the sports world. It's probably what today will be focused around. It's been a beautiful weekend. Great Monday to start the week off. I got spring break coming up. I'm leaving Friday, so we're going to hit spring break. Really excited for that. Can't wait to get back home. Hopefully get a little bit of a better shoot going, have some more of my friends on and, other situations like that. But, I mean, the weather's been extremely nice. Listen, I would have the window open, but I'm afraid somebody's going to hear me and think that I'm a weirdo. I mean, the people can probably hear outside my door because I speak loud most of the time. But, I don't want the other people of Missouri State University to know that I'm a weirdo, the podcast. Other than that, great weekend. Actually, I had a pretty good weekend other than some other events I'm not going to talk about because it's not worth my time. And I've learned one lesson over the weekend. Listen, there's only one thing in this world you can control. And it's something that, people have told me through football or through school or through working a job and other things like that. There's only one thing in this world that you can control. Everything else is out of your hands. And you can't control that. So, not to ramble on here, but you only control yourself. And unfortunately, you decide what happens to yourself. Sometimes there's things that happen that are kind of out of your nature, but they're normally not things you can control. The only thing you can really control is yourself. If you're studying for an exam and, if you have an exam coming up and you're not studying, who's to blame for that? Is that the professor's fault? No, that's on you. You can control how much you study. You can control what you study. You control the quality that, I guess the quality that you study. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. But my point is there's only one person that can control what they do, and that's yourself. And, there's an event that took place this weekend, and you know what? It wasn't my fault. I did everything right, and at the end of the day, I can't control how another person feels about me. And that's all I'm going to speak about that. I'm starting off kind of rambling, you know what I mean? But basically that's the gist. If you're ever at a point in your life where you feel like things are just coming out of control and you feel like week to week isn't good, and then day to day is just not getting better and minute to minute, listen. There are so many minutes in a day. There's a lot of hours in a day. Don't let one bad minute or one bad hour or one bad second, don't let that stop you from having a great day. Because, yeah, you may have 3 bad minutes, but, if you have a whole lot of other better ones, don't let those 3 just spoil everything else for you. So, control what you can control, be the best you can be, and, just go roll with that. Recently, I personally hit a milestone this weekend about working out. I talk about it a lot. I can't imagine me not doing it. I get irritable when I can't even work out, when I don't work out 2 days in a row. I can do about 1 because normally I need a little bit of rest. But 2 just makes me irritable. And recently I got under 200 pounds for the first time since I want to say my 8th grade year. It could be more my freshman, but as I remember my freshman year, I think I came in at 205. So I'm probably the lightest I've been in about 4 or 5 years, which I'm very excited about. I did it a healthy way, and I found that the simple tricks that people tell you, and I'm not trying to advocate like I'm smarter than a lot of personal trainers and stuff like that. See, I'm getting a call right now from Springfield, and we're just gonna decline that. I don't know. I apologize for that. Hopefully that didn't ruin the stream too much. But I'm not a personal trainer. I can't tell you what's best for everybody. I can't say keto isn't the best way to go. I can't say that being a vegetarian isn't the best way to go. But honestly, what I found works for me, and I think could work for a lot of people, is just follow the basics. Follow the basic uh, weight loss methods they tell you. And by that I mean, they typically say drink a lot of water, drink a gallon of water. That's going to help. I found drinking a lot of water actually did help me. Increasing my water intake helped a lot. I found myself, eating a regular meal, just not going over the edge. You know what I mean? Like put away the soda. You don't need to drink that. Drink the water instead. And I found that ice cold water is delicious. Like, I know that sounds weird, but the colder it is, I think the better it tastes. And for me, that's a lot better than any other soda I can have. Like, sometimes I miss the carbonation. That's why I treat myself with an energy drink every once in a while. But at the end of the day, it's all in. I'm trying to think. What's the word? It's all in good use, I guess. It's all moderation, And recently, I've been waking up in the morning and I've been getting eggs. We got an omelet bar, so I eat a lot more eggs than I have been. And so I mean, I found like when I drink about 100 plus ounces of water a day, I eat my eggs, and I eat dinner, and just cut out kind of sweets and eat more healthier snacks. I found that not only am I more energized, but I feel better. Like, I just feel better. I feel like I look better. And, it helps the workouts entirely because it gives you that little extra push. Gives you that extra push to do more. And obviously, I've been on the supplement called Total Lean. And I recommend it for anybody that's really trying to, not lose weight, but kind of like tone up. I think it's something that I've definitely enjoyed. And something that I would definitely recommend for somebody to get it. It's at GNC. It's GNC's Total Lean. It is pretty expensive. I will say that it's $30. There's 90 soft gel tablets, which is kind of like a fish oil tablet, and I think it's about 45 days. I think the first bottle, I'm on my second bottle. My first one gave me about 2 months, I would say. For sure. I would say about 2 months for sure. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I'm not entirely sure. It's about 45 days, which technically, if you did the math, that's about, depending on what month it is, that's about a month and maybe 15, 16 days. But it felt like, for some reason, it felt like a lot more. I think because there was a couple weekends I went home, I decided not to take them. But anyway, totally would recommend it if you're looking for something like that. So, I said we were going to talk about sports, and that's what we're going to do. And one of the biggest stories that I found to be very interesting is Russell Wilson. Listen, I may be totally wrong, and I'm going to sit here and preach it. Like, I've always said that I get basketball as its own thing. I get it. But if you really watch basketball, James Harden won it out of Houston. For what? Because he couldn't win a championship? Because they gave him the pieces and he couldn't do it, so now the window's over, he wants out? KD was a free agent, obviously. Kyrie kind of manipulated his way in and out of places, ended up on the Nets. And the thing I love about football is that the office and the GM and the coach have the power over the players. Okay, you want to sit out? Listen, we'll let you sit out. It just hurts you. You make it harder for yourself to be put in a better situation. And they've always held kind of this power. And what I'm seeing with Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson is like somehow this power is turning away. The reason I don't like basketball is not because there's a loyalty issue, but because they leave for stupid reasons. And that's just my opinion, and everybody's going to be like, well, James Harden didn't leave for a stupid reason. Well, yeah, he kind of did. I fully believe that. I fully feel like James Harden could have won a championship, but guess what, James? Didn't play good enough. Yeah, he scores 50 points a night, but where's the defense at? You play defense when you want to. And, I think that's part of why he didn't win a championship. So now we're seeing Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson be like, I want out. And I get it. Their organizations aren't great. Deshaun's organization deals with dysfunction. They were a surprised dysfunctional organization. Like, they've always kind of made stupid deals and things like that. And, the DeAndre Hopkins thing was kind of like shocking, and I think that's what kind of set it off to begin with. But I mean, I just don't understand it. I get it. The decision making of the front office isn't great. The ownership hasn't been great. But listen, you suck it up and you play, because there's a lot of other guys that would love the opportunity to play for an NFL team. And I'm not saying that Deshaun Watson doesn't deserve to go win, but he had one bad year. His rookie year, he tore his ACL, which was 17 because he played 1 year before Mahomes did. Torn ACL in 17. Then I think 18, I want to say they made the playoffs for sure. I don't remember. Don't hold me to that. 19, they made the divisional round and was very close to going to the championship, in which I think they would have beat the Titans. And then this year, they get rid of DeAndre Hopkins, and the team isn't playing very good because they're dealing with, an interim head coach, an interim head coach who's never proven to be a head coach. Romeo Crennel had a couple opportunities to be a head coach and just wasn't good enough. And I'm just shocked. You have one bad year and you're dealing with the dysfunction, and you're like, I want out. And I get it. They promised to include you, but I feel like that was just the trigger. That was just the small little thing he needed to be like, this is my ticket out of here. I think he kind of wanted out before, and that just gave him a reason to ask for the trade request. If I'm Houston, I'm sitting there saying, listen, you can sit out all you want. You're not getting out of Houston. You are our franchise. They obviously, J.J. Watt asked for his release. They gave him his release. That was a good move on their part. I think J.J. Watt's too injury prone, and we'll talk about him with the Cardinals later. But I mean, Deshaun Watson is a game changer, and the way you have to look at it, if you're Houston, you just don't want another team to have him. That's really truly what it boils down to. Do you want another team to have Deshaun Watson? Hell no. Why would I give up an MVP caliber player? He's proven he can be an MVP. I mean, you take out. He's always been kind of in that conversation, and he could have been in this conversation this year because of how bad his team was. But it's ridiculous. So now you flip over to Russell Wilson, who won a championship with Seattle. Then you kind of see in this deal, which this doesn't make sense to me at all. Okay, there are reports from other people like that he doesn't like how Seattle's treated him. But do we not remember a couple of years ago when Pete Carroll in the front office was choosing Russell Wilson over the Legion of Boom? Like, that was a whole ordeal. Like, they were neglecting Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor because they'd rather have Russell Wilson. So don't sit there and tell me that Russell Wilson is being treated poorly, because I don't know what he wants. Got a very good contract. I mean, the team obviously tries to build around him. This year, they gave the play calls to Russell Wilson. And he had an MVP caliber season for the first half. The second half, that's on him. You lose some of your running backs again. Listen, if there's anybody you want to blame Pete Carroll. Fire Pete Carroll, go get Russell Wilson a head coach that will value him. That will say, I am dying for the opportunity to work with Russell Wilson. Like, I get it. Pete Carroll is a good head coach. I'll say good because I don't think he's great. I don't think he's as good as Andy Reid. I don't think he's as good as Bill Belichick. I don't think he's as good as Mike Tomlin. I think those three are way better guys than Pete Carroll. Listen, and this is the narrative that you have to erase. Good college coaches don't equal good NFL coaches. That's not how it works. I think we're all smart enough to know that you can be great in college, but you take that step up to the NFL, it's totally different. Look at Nick Saban. He was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. A lot of people don't remember that. He didn't do great with them. Urban Meyer, great college coach. Now we got to wait and see what happens. I think he'll be good. I think he'll kind of be like Pete Carroll, but he's not going to be like Bill Belichick. He's not going to be like Andy Reid. He's not going to be brilliant in those ways. And that's my knock on Pete Carroll. And everybody's saying that Russell isn't being treated poorly. Is Russell really mad at the organization? Or is he mad because Seattle has built up... Like, Russell Wilson is the Seattle Seahawks. That's really what he is. You trade him away, Seattle Seahawks are not a playoff team. You want to know why they were in the playoffs last year? Not because of Pete Carroll, not because of the front office, because of Russell Wilson. That's just how good he is. You know? And I'll be honest with you, if it hadn't been for the Seattle Seahawks drafting him, I don't know if he's playing in the NFL right now. I know that's crazy to say because you're like, oh, he's a third-round pick. He wasn't that low, but put him on a team with a better quarterback. Say he was in a situation like Jordan Love's in. Think he's going to play? Maybe, maybe he shows some stuff off and somebody's like, yeah, we'll take him. But I really don't think that, it's the same situation if he doesn't go to Seattle. And, I think he's earned that right to be a little bit... I think if what he truly wants is to be at the table and make a little bit more decisions, I think he's earned that. But at the end of the day, you're a player. You play the game. You work on playing the game at a high level and putting your teams in situations to win, and let the other stuff carry itself. You think Seattle's sitting there right now and they're like, well, we're just going to try to lose because we have Russell Wilson want to waste his pride. It's not what they're doing. Come on. I bet you with every ounce in their body, they are grateful to have Russell Wilson as a quarterback, and I think they're going to open their eyes a little bit. I think they're going to treat him a little bit better. I think he'll be on the Seahawks next year. They would have to get so much in return. I mean, I'm talking 4 first-round draft picks. I'm talking a couple good development players, and you have to know that you would get a quarterback. I think that's what it would have to be for an asking price. Like, you're going to hear rumors, obviously. I think you're going to hear rumors. That they're taking calls because we've already seen those rumors. They're taking calls. And it's not ridiculous for them, too. Because they just want to see what they can get. They want to entertain the option. You know what I mean? How often are you messing around and you got downtime? And I know my family kind of did this a little bit sometimes. But my dad would drive up to a Ford dealership and we would look at some cars. And he just entertained the idea like, ooh, what you got cooking up here? You know what I mean? So they're just interested. I don't think they're at the point. They would have to get something so huge in return that it would make the Seattle Seahawks a better team. A better team without Russell Wilson. So what they have to look at this way, they would have to be a better team without Russ with that trade going through. And they are as good as they can possibly be as long as they have Russ on that team. Maybe... And they did get him DK Metcalf. They did get him a number 1 wide receiver. Chris Carson's a decent running back. He just wants a little bit more protection on the O-line. So if I'm Seattle, to tamper with this idea of trading and whatever you want to do, answer the calls, whatever, okay? But then when the time the draft comes around, do yourselves a favor. Please draft a lineman. Make the man happy. Call him up. Say, listen, what lineman do you want? Make him happy. Make him prove that you're going out of your way to make sure that he's happy, which will then make you happy because he's staying in the organization. And Russell Wilson isn't going to be the type of guy that's going to force his way out of a situation. That's just not who he is. It's not in his blood. So you're not going to see him demand a trade. I don't think he will. And I really don't think that... I really don't think it's as big a deal as what people are making it out to be. I think it's just kind of like one of those years like we seen Stafford get traded for Goff and and then Carson Wentz going to Indianapolis. Like we've seen kind of like this crazy huge storyline carnival, whatever you want to call it. So I think people are just trying to add a little bit of fuel to that fire and try to mix things up a little bit. But that's all I got to say on Russell Wilson. He'll stay in Seattle. They would have to be absolutely crazy to pull that trade. I think they'd be crazy. I seriously do think they'll be crazy. Because there's no trade that anybody can offer right now that would make them a better team. with Russell Wilson than without. I talked about J.J. Watt. I'm happy for the guy. You have to look at it this way. Basically, other than Alex Smith getting the comeback player of the year this year, which we'll talk about Alex Smith later. Okay, we're getting there. The award was basically guaranteed to J.J. Watt every year because every year he got some type of injury and came back and somehow played, whatever you want to call it. So he was always the comeback player of the year. And I think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a little bit injury prone. I think that's been the one knock on his entire career is that he's really good. He just gets hurt a lot. And I think he found a great team in Arizona. I think he's going to bring a sense of leadership, what they need, because I'm not saying D-Hop isn't a leader. I'm not saying that Kyler Murray isn't a leader. But now you got J.J. Watt, who is a bona fide leader, and I think they're scary. I said the Rams were my favorites with Stafford, but they're still negative $35 million in cap room. I think they'll restructure some deals and get some stuff figured out. But the Cardinals are now my favorite because I think they can make good draft picks. I think they can get a couple more players signed. And I think they got a very underestimated defense. Everybody forgets about Budda Baker, how great he is. Now they got Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt, which is insane. You look at the offensive side of the ball, I think they might want to upgrade at running back or tight end, which I think they possibly could do. I think the O-line's okay. I think Kyler's very good. I think he's all types of special. He's one of those players that, forget the measurements. He's just that good. And D-Hop is, without a doubt, top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. He is just that good. So I'm happy for J.J. Watt. Alex Smith asked the Washington football team to release him, so they did. They respected his wishes. They got a whole... They did kind of have a quarterback carousel at this point. I think right now, they're down to Chase Heineke and the other Allen guy. I would like to see what Heineke's got. Obviously, he put up a tremendous performance in versus Tampa Bay, and I get it. They could be a one-game fluke, but I think look at him, keep him on the team, look at him in OTA, see how he handles these deals. I think they'll go quarterback. They need to, or they need to find a quarterback in free agency or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they went after Cam Newton, but I don't know if Cam's attitude necessarily fits what Ron Rivera's going for, but I would love to see them reunite because they were really good together, and I think Cam has it in him. I think Cam's a hard worker. I think he's going to push himself to be a better Cam. Listen, what we have to eliminate here is Tom Brady made that offense look really good. So when Cam Newton was literally trying to do the best he could do to just keep that team even relevant, I think Billy B was helping out, making sure that defense was stout, and Cam Newton was trying everything he could. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have wide receivers, and that sucks for him. It really does, because I think he would have been a little bit better if they just get wide receiver, whatever. It's going to be interesting to see where Washington goes this offseason, because they got a lot of options. I'd like to see him get a Trey Lance, because I think Trey Lance will fall that far. And I would like to see Cam. I would like to maybe see Heineke. I think they just got a bunch of ideas right now, and especially with this offseason, how the quarterbacks situation's going around, prime opportunity them to capitalize. Let's swing over to the Patriots. Just talked about them. I heard they're playing it. It's a rumor. Take a rumor for what it is. I heard they are going to try to pursue Jimmy Garoppolo. Billy B has loved Jimmy G since he drafted him. That's no question. He wanted him to play over Brady when that dysfunction between Brady and Belichick started to occur. Luckily, Kraft saved Tom. That was the reason that Tom was able to, go to a couple more Super Bowls and win one with him, and then lose in the playoffs. I think that was 19. So, it's interesting. I'd be willing to see what San Francisco's willing to do, because they have a low enough pick where if they wanted to, they could say, okay, listen, we'll get rid of Jimmy G. We'll get somebody else. I don't know how that would make the locker room feel. I think that's something that's got to play into it too, because I know George Kittle loves Jimmy G. And Jimmy G's a really good quarterback, but I think he would actually fit in with the Patriot system a little bit better than he does San Francisco. I think San Francisco system really wants a quarterback kind of like Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, maybe like a Jalen Hurts. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I say all this is interesting. I think anything that happens this offseason is going to be amazing. I think we will. I already said it a while ago. This is going to be one of the greatest off seasons we've ever seen, just because there's so many moves that are potentially going to be made. San Francisco could offer up for a Deshaun Watson. That's not out of the realm of possibility. So, all that being said, we're going to go to my last sports. Wait, I think I already talked about that, didn't I? There's something else I had in my mind that I wanted to talk about, but I forgot. So in that case, I'm basically done with the sports. Guys, it was great to be back on a Monday. Let me know what you want to see. I'm open to anything. I want to do more. I promised last week that we would do it the entire week. Then I had an exam pop up for PLS 101, and I was really nervous about it, so I started stressing out, and I was doing my studying all week, Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday I found out that I didn't have it, so I should have recorded Friday. Actually, I don't know what happened Friday. I'm trying to think. There was something that happened Friday, but I don't remember. This is my problem. I just forget. It was a great day outside, too. And there was one day I was actually going to go outside to podcast outside, but then I don't want to damage my equipment because, this is expensive stuff, and I don't think this is the type of stuff that you take outside. But, we're gonna go here with the critical thinking. Wow, I got my elbow right here. I just nailed my funny bone. That really tingled my entire arm. Critical thinking for today. I want to kind of do a question that I feel like would be fun, but very simplistic. Who's ready for spring break? Yeah, I know it's very typical. I know I am. I'm excited to get back home for a little bit. Just get back home, hopefully play a little bit of basketball, get back to working out, seeing my friends, my family, do a little bit of fishing. I'm super excited for that. If any of you guys are having spring break, because I know schools across the board, I know even high schools and middle schools and all that type of stuff, they have a spring break. Colleges are getting ready for spring break. So, what do you guys think about that? You guys excited? The weather's been beautiful. I recently became a member of the hammock community, and that was actually really fun. I enjoyed that a little bit more than I thought I would. I was kind of like, I'll get one. I'll get a hammock, you know what I mean? See how it is. Actually, it was really fun. Enjoyed it a lot. So, as for that, my name is Garrett Sims. This has been the podcast. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, because I will force myself to do this tomorrow. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. I won't force anything because I really want to do this. As for that, I will talk to you guys in the next podcast.